Deep within crumbling stones and forgotten tombs lay secrets that were never meant to be disturbed. Imagine archaeologists, guided by ancient maps, uncovering more than just artifacts. They find whispers of the past that refuse to stay silent. These aren't just ghost stories. They are chilling accounts from the very people who dared to awaken history. What did they find in the shadows of these ancient ruins that still haunts them today? Join us as we journey into the heart of archaeological digs, where the line between history and the supernatural blurs, and some discoveries are best left buried. We've all heard tales of cursed tombs, but what happens when trained, skeptical scientists come face to face with the inexplicable? Our first story takes us to the sun-scorched deserts of Egypt, to a lesser-known tomb of a high priest. In 1993, a French archaeological team meticulously cataloged their finds. Everything seemed normal until the sun went down. Team members reported hearing faint, rhythmic chanting coming from the sealed burial chamber, a sound several of them recorded. But the recordings always came back silent. The lead archaeologist, a man of staunch science, began having vivid nightmares of a procession of priests, their faces obscured by shadows, warning him to leave. Dismissing a distress, he pushed his team to work faster. One evening, a heavy limestone block that took for men to move was found displaced, resting in the center of the antechamber, with no footprints in the thick dust around it. The local workers, convinced the priest's spirit was angered, abandoned the site overnight. The official report cited unforeseen structural instabilities, but in his private journal, the lead archaeologist wrote, "We are not welcome here. Something ancient and powerful guards this place. We hear its voice when our tools are silent, and we feel its gaze when our lamps go out." Next, we travel to the misty highlands of Peru, to the sprawling pre-Incan ruins of Chichén Itzá. This labyrinthine complex of underground passages was a major ceremonial center. In the early 2000s, an international team used ground-penetrating radar to map a previously undiscovered network of tunnels. As they began excavation, a strange phenomenon occurred. Every night, without fail, their carefully arranged tools and equipment would be moved. At first, they blamed rival dig teams or local pranksters, so they set up motion-activated cameras. The footage was baffling. The cameras would trigger, capturing clear images of the empty tunnels. But moments later, tools would be seen in different locations in subsequent photos, as if moved by an invisible force between frames. The team also experienced intense, shared auditory hallucinations, the distinct sound of a jaguar's roar, echoing from deep within the unexcavated earth, even though jaguars hadn't lived in that high-altitude region for centuries. The most chilling account came from a geologist who was mapping a narrow passage alone. She felt a sudden, bone-chilling cold and the distinct sensation of something large brushing past her. In the tight space, she fled, refusing to enter the tunnels again, convinced the jaguar god, a central figure in Chichén cosmology, still roamed its stone halls. Our journey now takes us to the windswept Orkney Islands of Scotland, home to the Ring of Brodgar, a Neolithic stone circle older than Stonehenge. In the late 1980s, during a routine survey, a team of archaeologists experienced a bizarre time-slip phenomenon. On a clear, windless afternoon, 3 members of the team were taking measurements when they were suddenly enveloped in a thick, rolling fog that appeared from nowhere. The world went silent. No birds, no distant traffic, just an eerie quiet. They reported seeing flickering lights, like torchlight, moving between the ancient stones, and hearing the murmur of voices in a language they couldn't understand. It felt, as one of them described, like the veil had thinned, and we were seeing the circle as it was 5,000 years ago. The event lasted for what felt like several minutes before the fog vanished as quickly as it came, leaving them back in the bright, modern-day sunshine. They were all shaken, and their watches had all stopped at the exact same time. While skeptics might point to localized weather, all 3 archaeologists, independent and credible academics, gave the exact same account of the figures and the chanting, a supernatural experience that forever changed their perception of the ancient sites they studied. They weren't just excavating stone and bone. They were touching a place where time itself seemed thin. From Scotland, we head to the dense jungles of Cambodia, to the sprawling temple complex of Kokra, which served as the capital of the Khmer Empire for a brief, tumultuous period in the 10th century. This site is dominated by a massive, 7-tiered pyramid called Prasit Tom. For centuries, locals have avoided the temple after dark, telling stories of the Apsashra, vengeful female spirits that dance on the pyramid's tiers. In 2012, a restoration team was working on stabilizing the structure. Several Cambodian members of the crew refused to stay past sundown, but the foreign supervisors often worked late, reviewing plans. One evening, the supervisors were the last to leave. As they walked away, they both glanced back at the pyramid. They later swore they saw multiple, graceful silhouettes moving on the 4th and 5th tiers of the pyramid, their forms illuminated only by the faint moonlight. They weren't animals or birds. They moved with a distinctly human, deliberate elegance. Believing it might be trespassers, they shouted, but the figures vanished instantly. When they reviewed the security footage the next day, the cameras showed nothing but the empty, silent pyramid. This wasn't a one-off event. Over the course of the project, multiple team members reported fleeting glimpses of these dancing figures, always silent, always distant, a haunting reminder that they were merely visitors in a place with a long, and perhaps living, memory. Our final story brings us to North America, to the Anasazi ruins of Chaco Canyon in New Mexico. The Anasazi, or ancestral Puebloans, built massive, complex great houses and then mysteriously abandoned them in the 12th and 13th centuries. Modern archaeologists working at the site have long documented strange occurrences. One of the most persistent legends is that of the Chacon whisper wind. On perfectly still days, with no breeze, researchers have reported hearing distinct, sibilant whispers carrying on the air, seeming to come from the stone walls themselves. The words are unintelligible, but many describe a feeling of being watched, a palpable sense of presence in the empty kivas and plazas. One well-documented incident involved a team mapping Pueblo Bonito at night. Using specialized photography, they repeatedly captured inexplicable light anomaly orbs and streaks of light appearing in their long exposure shots, with no possible source of reflection or malfunction. The team's Native American consultant explained that these are the spirits of the ancestors, still communicating. One archaeologist, a firm rationalist, was working late in a restored room when he heard the clear sound of pottery being scraped, a common activity in Anasazi life. He searched the entire area, finding nothing. He couldn't explain it, but he noted in his log that the sound was so real, so mundane. It was utterly terrifying. It wasn't a ghostly wail. It was the sound of daily life, echoing across 1,000 years. These archaeologists, men and women of science and logic, went searching for history, but found something more. They encountered echoes of the past that defy easy explanation, sounds without sources, movements without actors, and visions that blur the lines of time. Are these mere tricks of the mind, brought on by exhaustion and isolation in remote locations? Or have these ancient sites absorbed the energy of the people who lived, worshipped, and died there, leaving behind a spiritual residue that can still be felt today? What do you think? Are these ruins just stone and dust, or are they gateways to a world we no longer understand? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you were captivated by these unsettling stories from the field, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We have many more journeys into the unknown to share, uncovering the mysteries that lie just beneath the surface of our world. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be careful what you dig for.